Hello, spontaneous purchase. I got this rather ancient now Fimoco fork, very high end in its heyday. It's the Rock Crusher E129. It's made in Italy. In fact, I think it's written somewhere here. Yeah. If you look on the side, Italia Engineering. Lots of really nice features on this fork. I have a feeling that it's from roughly the mid 90s, I believe 1994. It's got a 1-inch threadless steerer tube. The fork has a really nice blingy look to it with its blue bolts, and the brace in particular has been worked on. It's definitely CNC'd. The fork especially is very light. I haven't weighed it yet, but I would imagine we're in something around about 1,400 grams, maybe maximum. What are we going to do with the fork? We need to replace the elastomers they're kaput. Luckily for me, the seller gave me a spare, and it's enabled me to find out the outside diameter. We need something that's going to be 25 millimeters in total. So I'm guessing here there's these spaces I'm assuming will go between the elastomers. Luckily for me, although I didn't find any kind of manual on this fork, there is on a Polish website, I think, that has I'll show this on screen now, the a kind of advertisement from a magazine, and luckily for me it's also got a picture of the fork completely dismounted, and you can kind of see in the picture the internal parts of the fork, and so I can have a rough idea of how many I'm going to need. I think it was 8 in total. I can also see that there's a plunger and some other bits. I'm hoping that's all going to be inside this fork when I'm going to dismantle it. I don't know what that's for. Maybe to go here on the top, I'm really not sure. Luckily there's also the metal caps which insert on the top here. So from what I can tell, you need a long Allen key to go inside here and undo both sides. I can see that there's a bolt head in the darkness, in the abyss. So since the diameter is going to be a bit of a weird one, I'm going to purchase one from a well-known Chinese website. We're going to test some cheap elastomers. Hopefully it will do the trick. First thing before we get started, I'm going to try and remove undo the bolts that are inside the fork arms, or the fork legs, sorry. And so before I go to my card to get the extender that I've got, I'm going to try and do it with an Allen key and an adjustable wrench. Hopefully this will be enough to dismantle it. Yeah, it is. It's undoing. Excellent. So now I'm turning this around. Hopefully this is loosening something. Okay, good. So this is not missing. I was scared that it might be missing this part. And so I'm guessing that so they're gonna install something like this. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's do that. Yeah. Right, so we got both. And now I'm going to assume we're going to yank this open. God, just smack my finger. can see here that at one point this was sitting in some water. Looks like it's going to be fine for now. Trying to figure out what this would be for. I think it's going to go here. It seems to fit perfectly, and I don't see where else it would go on this fork. Ooh. And this one. Ooh. Okay. These ones are already coming off, loosened up. Months later, probably around about 3 months later after I initially filmed this, I have finally got hold of some elastomer or polyurethane rods. The first two orders were lost or never arrived. I ended up just getting any rod just to be able to finish the project. So I wasn't sure about the hardness. It wasn't advertised. The issue also was the outer diameter. I needed one that was 25 millimeters in total. I think the original was possibly 24, but 25 was the closest. Also, there's a hole running through the center for the rods for the long bolts, and that needed to be roughly around about 6-7 millimeters. Closest I could find was 8. So I've ended up with this right here. And I've already started to cut it up. Since everything's been cleaned, I had a lot of time to do that. We can now test one side out and see what happens. Looks like we're putting this inside here, one of the bolts. And the other end, you have these plastic caps. Another one. One of the elastomers. Another one. And this at the end. Now all of this is going to insert into the lower tubes all the way in here, and then we're going to screw this in from inside here. So you're going to need a long extension drive with a I think it's number 5 hex key at the end of it. Inserting. Okay. So now we need to catch that bolt at the ends and then start to screw down. So now we're just gently screwing down, and I think we've reached the end there. Yeah, okay. Let's see what that's like. Okay. Seems to be a little bit of play. Slightly. Going back up. Don't know if we really want that. So the next ones I actually did this on purposely. I'm going to add on a little bit more on the next elastomer that I cut to make up for that tiny bit of play that we've got. It's roughly, yeah, about 6mm extra that I need to add on. So I've cut the rest. We're going to just add on some grease now onto this part here. And we'll put a bit of layers. We'll do that after. From what I can tell in the images, you had this plastic ring that inserted over that part. So we've got this one. We've got that. This. There's another one right here as well, but it's actually got stuck in the tube. But it's in the right place, so it doesn't matter. Let's cover some grease on these parts. Right, that's all done. Starting to get dark and luminosity's being affected a little bit. In. There you go. Oh yeah, okay, that's much better now. There's no more back play. Very slight, but way better than before. In fact, I think it's much better now. There's no back play, maybe tiny bit, but I haven't tightened this up completely yet, so maybe it's normal. We'll compress it soon enough once we put the other one in. Same procedure as the last. Gauge that. Start screwing it in. Great. The worst thing that could possibly happen has just happened. The fork has just been laid to rest. The bolt, or at least the threaded part of the bolt, just snapped. Hardly any pressure. That's very disappointing. I cannot tell you how disappointing that is. It also looks like, yeah, I've just looked inside the fork and it appears that the threaded part is fairly deep and there is no more threading to be able to work on. A part that's fairly inaccessible, and I really don't see how I'm going to remove that. If you look closely at this bolt, you'll see that the metal has been eaten alive from corrosion. It's made out of aluminium. That's the real issue, which makes it very fragile. Funnily enough, in that review from the magazine, one of the negative points that had been put was the screws are fragile. Funny. For the sake of the video, we're going to finish making it. There you have it, a piece of Italian engineering. The E129 Rock Crusher. That's a shame about this one. I had some things planned since it was a nice a 1-inch steerer, super long. I guess it's a dream that will never be. Anyway, I hope this was informative. So until next time for another fork. I think I have another Italian fork anyway to service. Got 2 of them in fact. So look forward to that. Peace out.